Is The Outer Worlds what Fallout 4 should have been? In this video, we are going to take a look at The Outer Worlds and Fallout 4. We are going to see which game did better than the other and what they did the same. At the end of the video, we are going to come down to a conclusion and figure out if The Outer Worlds is really what Fallout 4 should have been. Let's start out with what Obsidian did right. The Outer Worlds isn't trying to be like Fallout. They did say that you will see Fallout's DNA in the game, but they are trying to make The Outer Worlds into its own thing. Let's look at a clip from Mr. Matty Play's interview with Obsidian.
I also want to talk about a common comparison for this game, and quite frankly, I see it in the conversation system, but not so much in the rest of the game. I think it's very much its own thing, but people always assume the comparison to this title is Fallout New Vegas. And I want to know, personally, from your experience, did you draw any inspiration from this game at all, or was it more like Pillars?
So I didn't work on Fallout New Vegas. That was a little bit before my time at Obsidian.
Okay.
But I mean, we do have a lot of people on our team who did.
Right.
And obviously we have Tim and Leonard and a couple other team members who worked on the original Fallout.
Correct.
So I mean, players will recognize the DNA in, first person, semi-open world RPG with FPS elements. But I mean, what we really wanted to do with this is branch off and make something new. So I mean, we wanted to include that openness, that ability to drop the player into different scenarios, different quest lines, and let them really use the tools that we've given them to play the game their way.
Right.
Whether they want to sneak around, whether they want to fight their way through something, or whether they want to talk their way through something. We always wanted to give players that freedom, which, sure is something that players will recognize from games like New Vegas, and it's something that our development team, whether it's on, New Vegas or Pillars or Tyranny, something we've learned how to do well and manage and polish.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite moments when I was playing the game was I crawled through this room. It was in the Devil's Peak relay station, and I found a little terminal, and then you could vent all the oxygen out of the room and just kill everybody. I just thought, even though it was in the back of the room, it was a really cool option to have. So yeah, I recognize some of the Fallout New Vegas DNA in that way, the choices that were there.
Now let's talk about what Obsidian did better. The one direction where Fallout 4 went and many fans disagreed was the way of the voice protagonist. You still had speech checks to an extent, but it was different from past Fallout games. Your speech was only measured by how high your charisma was. That's it. In Fallout 3 and New Vegas, you had more in-depth dialogue options to choose from, and speech wasn't the only stat you needed to be good at for specific dialogue options. Almost every skill and special attribute played a part in some way when it came to conversing with the NPC. For example, barter and speech were two different speech checks. Same with intelligence and strength. Fans were really upset with the voice protagonist in Fallout 4 because they felt it took away some of the roleplay elements that previous Fallout games offered. They felt since we had the voice protagonist, we couldn't essentially give the character his own voice. That decision was already made for us. When it comes to Fallout 4 being an RPG, that was a huge mistake by Bethesda, taking something away from the player. Obsidian did not make that same mistake. They stayed true to the dialogue that Fallout 3 and New Vegas were known for. You have speech checks identical to the ones you had in 3 and New Vegas. Obsidian did not drop the ball when it came to this, and in doing so, would have been a huge mistake. The one thing that Outer Worlds is going to do a great job of is choice and consequence. You have many, many different ways to play this game, and you have many ways to do specific quests. Let's look at this one, for example.
And you're the soon-to-be handsomely paid son of a bitch who's gonna get it for me. If you got brass knockers, you could shoot your way through the front gate. If you don't fancy getting shot to shit, you can try asking Duncan for a disguise. Might be another way in, assuming you're courageous enough to trek the sewers. Boy, if I know. Hit 'em where it hurts.
You literally have 3 different ways you can complete this quest. Fallout 4 did not have that. It seemed like in Fallout 4, you really didn't have a choice on where you wanted to go with a specific quest. Everything always ended up going the same way, whether it was the main quest or a side quest. The Outer Worlds appears to give you more options on how to complete a quest, rather than just completing that said quest in only one set way. Multiple companions in Outer Worlds is a thing. Yes, in Fallout 4 you could have multiple companions, but that's only if one of them were dog meat. In the Outer Worlds, you can have 2 human companions to travel with at one time. Imagine roaming the wasteland with Boone and Veronica, or Hancock and Nick Valentine. That would have been sweet to do in Fallout. In the Outer Worlds, you can do just that. Now, this video so far has been really talking not so greatly about Fallout 4. Let me set the record straight. Fallout 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely love the game. However, in making this video, I've had to be objective as possible. Now let's see what Fallout 4 did better than the Outer Worlds from what we have seen from the game so far. The one huge thing in Fallout 4 that I absolutely loved, and I would have loved it for it to be in the Outer Worlds, is being able to switch from first person and third person. Me, myself, I prefer to play first person in Fallout 4. However, I always like the option of switching into third person and looking at my character. In the Outer Worlds, it's strictly first person. You can't do that. I guess it's okay being that I primarily played in Fallout 4 in first person, but I do like the option of going back and forth to third person so I can actually see my character rather than just seeing his hands. Now, this is really huge here of what Fallout 4 did much better than Obsidian in regards to the Outer Worlds versus Fallout 4. And Fallout 4 was more of an open world game than what the Outer Worlds appears to be. There has been word that the Outer Worlds is only going to be about 40 hours long. In Fallout 4, you can virtually play the game for hundreds of hours. The Outer Worlds is only semi-open, where Fallout 4 was a massively open world. Now let's look at what these two games did the same. In the Outer Worlds, you can mod your weapons just like you could in Fallout 4. I love this feature in Fallout 4, and I'm incredibly happy Obsidian brought this mechanic into their game. Sometimes just using the base weapon is pretty boring. You like the weapon, but it either doesn't do that much damage as another one in your inventory, and it just looks straight up boring like I said before. With mods, you can change it up so it can be even more effective, and you can make the weapon look a bit better. Hopefully this mechanic is just as good in the Outer Worlds as it was in Fallout 4. The one thing that I was glad to see implemented in the Outer Worlds was quick loot. BGS adding that into Fallout 4 was massive. It made searching through certain containers a lot easier than ever before. Obsidian realized that, and they knew that they had to put it in their game, and they did. Now let's get to the conclusion of this video. Is the Outer Worlds what Fallout 4 should have been? In some ways, yes, but in others, no. However, this is where the Outer Worlds takes the sweet role. There are multiple ways you can play the game. You can be an awful person, or you can be a complete pacifist. This is where the Outer Worlds wins, and this is what Fallout 4 should have been, on top of the freedom that the game already had to offer. Yes, the Nuka World DLC did give you the option to be a bad guy, but that should have already been in the base game at launch. In Fallout 4, you could have sided with the Institute, the Railroad, the Brotherhood of Steel, or the Minutemen. But in the end, the outcome always remained the same with some minor changes. With the Outer Worlds, that doesn't appear to be the case. In the end, that's what Fallout 4 should have been. That's what Obsidian appears to be doing with the Outer Worlds. Alright everyone, that about wraps this up here. I thank you all for watching. Please hit that like button, comment if you haven't already. Please subscribe for more. Please check out the links down below. That'll be much appreciated. As well, like I said, share this video if you'd like. That would mean the world. I like doing these style of videos. Kind of cool. I did one about the Elder Scrolls 6, and that was really fun to make. So I decided to do one about the Outer Worlds and comparing it to Fallout 4, and I did enjoy it. So I thank you all for watching. Like I said, guys, please hit that like button, comment if you haven't already. Please subscribe for more content on the way. If you guys have any ideas of what I should do in the future as far as this type of a video, please let me know. We'd love to see what you have to say. Alright guys, I thank you all for watching. This is Joe, signing out.